Welcome to the June 28th, 2022 council meeting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Webb.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem McCall.
Here.
Councilmember Lakira.
Here.
Councilmember Sullivan.
Here.
Councilmember Londo.
Here.
And they need an approval of the agenda with the item added to the consent agenda, item 11, 2021-2022 budget amendment.
Move approval of the agenda as presented, adding an item to the consent agenda, final budget amendments fiscal year 2022.
Support.
Any discussion? We have a budget. Special presentation for a resolution honoring Jay Spiro.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if I may have your indulgence that I will go to the podium and present this, please. And in the meantime, if one of you could be so kind as to move adoption of the ordinance for me.
Adoption of the resolution.
Move approval of a resolution honoring Jane Spiro.
Support.
Discussion? Motion passes. How you doing, Jay?
Good. Well.
How you doing? Good, good, good.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm proud to have a special guest here today, and proud to have my city council honor my martial arts sensei, Jay Spiro, for her amazing accomplishments in advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community. Jay has been an advocate and an activist for that community for over 50 years. And we were talking at the dojo a few weeks ago, and I don't know if it's easy for me to appreciate as a straight white male what she had to go through 50 years ago when she began her activism. And she's really had not just an amazing career as an activist, but also an amazing career as a martial artist and a martial arts instructor. And she's really done amazing things in terms of advancing women in martial arts throughout her entire career. So I will read the resolution into the record. City of Hazel Park, a resolution honoring Jay Spiro. Whereas Sensei Jay Spiro, longtime owner and operator of Majishi Martial Arts in Ferndale, Michigan, was recently chosen to serve as the Grand Marshal of the Motor City Pride Parade on Sunday, June 12, 2022. And whereas Jay Spiro has been a visible, active leader in the fight for LGBTQ plus rights for over 50 years, courageously advocating for the LGBTQ community, often in the face of discrimination and oppression. And whereas Jay's many years of activism helped lay the foundation for the hard-won rights that the LGBTQ plus community now enjoys today. And whereas Sensei Jay Spiro is a 9th degree black belt martial artist who supportively teaches Amute Shotokan Karate, as well as Filipino martial arts of modern Arnis and Balintawak, along with basic self-defense to people of all walks of life, regardless of age, sex, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, religion, or physical capability. And whereas Jay Spiro has demonstrated a lifetime of commitment not only to LGBTQ plus rights, but also to advancing women in the martial arts and to providing outstanding martial arts instruction to so many in the Metro Detroit area, including many students from Hazel Park. So, therefore be it resolved, the Hazel Park City Council hereby honors Jay Spiro on the occasion of her selection as Grand Marshal for the 2022 Motor City Pride Parade, and we salute her for her decades of contributions to the struggle for LGBTQ plus rights as we extend our best wishes to Jay and her wife, Sue Ferrari, in hopes that all their future endeavors are happy and successful. On behalf of the City of Hazel Park, congratulations on your amazing accomplishment.
Thank you very much. Go ahead. You want to say something? I just want to say thank you very much for this. It was a big surprise. 50 years ago, we were young and idealistic and probably a little naive, and a lot of those 200-300 people who marched in downtown Detroit in that day are no longer with us. I mean, some of them had to go back in the closet, some of them died, some of them moved away, and I was a remaining remnant of that very first march, and it was a highlight of my life to be in the beautiful Jeep that was provided to ride down Jefferson and wave to people and represent 50 years of pride. And I just want to thank you very much. This is beautifully stated, Ed, and thank you very much to the council for this recognition. I mean, even 10 or 15 years ago, this would have been beyond my comprehension that a city would recognize somebody for being there back in 1972 and being a leader then. And thank you very much. It says a lot about the way you and Hazel Park honor diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Anyone wishing to have any civic announcements for the audience? Any civic announcements? Seeing no one, we have any civic announcements from the council? Seeing no one, close civic announcements. Open up public discussion for the public. Anyone wishing to speak? And we'll close public discussion. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
1 through 11, right?
Yeah, 1 through 11, sorry.
Support.
Any discussion? Dissension? Motion passes. Administrative reports, 24520 North Chrysler update.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Well, you were given in your packet a copy of a couple of plans and proposals. We have Vitus here today, and he will answer any questions that you have and hopefully add to the information that you've already been presented. Obviously, we would like to see the landmark church property redeveloped. Do we have enough? I'll share. Okay, so you're here before, and
Good evening.
council gave you some feedback, and based on that feedback, they asked you to not necessarily go all the way back to the drawing board, but to make some modifications that were consistent with what they thought would be the highest and best use of the property, and you've come back to us tonight, so we're excited to hear about what you've come up with.
Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. I did look at the possibility of adding for sale housing. One of the smaller plans shows, I think, 70 units of apartments and roughly 60 units of for sale housing. However, during my research, I found that it becomes problematic for me because of my investors. You've got a great opportunity to have an opportunity zone, and that's what most of my investors were relying on. And if you go for sale housing, the opportunity zone investors are usually looking to put their money in, stay in for 10 years, get their money out. The for sale component has driven at least one of them away so far because they're not really interested in a flip per se of their funds. In addition to that, I had my market study do some initial analysis on the for sale housing in light of the economy and things like that, and it's just going to be a lot tougher to bring those on board today.
Okay.
So I'd really like to, I've gone back and designed a more efficient and more cost-effective design for apartments, two-story apartments. And I'd really like for you to consider this concept.
All apartments.
Yes.
You ain't even on the page, my friend. As this is our last big piece of land in this city that needs to be developed. As far as I'm concerned, we're not going to be doing it in haste. That apartments is doing it in haste. All we're looking for is a fair share of apartments and home ownership to make it fair for the community as well. Not just to push a bunch of apartments and not to say renting isn't bad.
Well, renting is
People
very good.
rent for a living, but on the other hand, you got to understand, you got people that have home investments there 20, 30 years. They want some sort of that around them as well, along with the apartment.
Yeah, it is zoned single-family residential. So, again, it's not something that can't be overcome, but I think, and I don't want
I
to speak
see
for
where he's
council, I'm
coming from. The
going to
market is changing.
shut up and let them speak, but,
Yeah, sorry. But
No,
I see
I'm
where
gonna
he's coming
shut
from.
up.
The market's changing. The investors are getting gun shy because of the way the economy's changing. I get it.
Well, that's part of it, but it's the opportunity zone investors too. I mean,
And we're looking at it as an opportunity.
Yeah. I have to agree with the mayor. I'm not concerned about your investors. I'm concerned about my residents.
I understand.
And that's what I have to look at. That's who I'm accountable to. That's who I care about. Apartments is not it. It's a non-starter for
We
me.
didn't say no to all of them. We just said no to
All apartments, right?
Yeah.
It's just a non-starter for me.
60-40 was what I think we all had a great consensus on.
Okay.
And I understand. It's tough. You got investors that don't look at it that way. They don't look at the dollar amount. We look at the people amount.
I understand.
What their thoughts are.
I understand.
I think this is a thoughtful, well-developed, carefully presented plan, and I don't disagree that there is a need for additional rental units, rental capacity in the city, but my residents are demanding additional housing, and any plan that doesn't include some component of that, I can't in good faith support it. But I want to thank you for presenting this to us today.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Any comments? We thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And appreciate you coming back.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. And we do appreciate you. If you find other investors, please, by all means.
All we want is a fair shake, half and half. Moves us to item 2, orders to add,
Mr. Mayor, the administration recommends approval of item 2 on second reading, please. The offenses affecting government functions, meaning you will have to accurately place before city council accurate information on the forms that you fill out.
Point of inquiry, does that last item require a motion?
no,
Looking at you, Melissa.
Number 1.
no, it's just an update.
No, you guys are just updating from when he was here last time, as far as I understood.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah, there's
looking,
no,
he was looking for a way,
mean-
a direction.
Gotcha.
there was no, no, that's a fair question. I mean, you guys could pass, to go back to that. You guys all took the words out of my mouth, that's why I figured I would just be quiet and, because I mean, you were very clear with him, all 5 of you, pretty much about what you
we were
wanted.
clear
It was a
6 weeks
clear
ago.
consensus of the council, and there was no ambiguity there, and you moved a lot on your side, and to try to accommodate him from something that clearly everyone had hoped would be, possibly attached, but still single-family housing.
Right.
And you moved, your position as much as I think you can for the best interest of the city, so,
Right.
I have a question on that issue. What then becomes the status of this property?
It's still derelict, it's still a problem. We'll talk to Dwight, we'll see if there's anything we can do. I mean, we're late in the game for the opportunity investor anyways. He wanted to be in by June 30th. This also falls to Pastor Barry David and his so-called board over there. This property is substantially derelict, and we're going to have to take, some kind
We
of
can talk
action.
about that with our lawyers.
Yep,
I
and
don't
we
think
will.
We need to talk about it.
Yeah, we do not.
Thank you.
So
I look forward to that executive session.
I'm sure that you do. You and many others.
We should have an exec session the first meeting of July.
Yeah, we will. We will give you some update on that.
Thank you.
But again, Dwight may be able to come back with different investors, or, maybe he's going to have to realize over there that he who waits sometimes is lost.
Well, maybe he'll just lose.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sounded like
Item 2,
Oh, look at it.
Item 2,
need a motion to pass on second reading.
I would like to make a motion to pass the City of Hazel Park Ordinance 07-22, an ordinance creating Chapter 1516, offenses affecting government functions, sections 15.5610 through 15.56140.
Support.
Any discussion, dissension? Anything? Motion passes. Item 3, ordinance to add HPMC section 15.55, responsible contracting, second reading.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, administration recommends approval on second reading with the modifications that were made last meeting.
Anybody?
I would love to make this motion. I'd like to make a motion to adopt City of Hazel Park Ordinance number 6-22, an ordinance creating Chapter 15.55, responsible contracting, sections 15.55-010 through 15.55.130.
Support.
Thank you.
Any discussion, dissension? Motion passes.
Awesome, thank you.
And moves us to boards and commissions, seeing no one, new business, anyone for new business? No, communications to department heads? No one?
My department heads are awesome. They do a great job.
Yeah, we know. They do a great job. Motion, let's see, communications to the city attorney.
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
My city attorney's awesome. She does a great job.
City manager. Oh, that's right. City manager does a great job. It's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Let's go on to the city.
I just have to say one thing.
Okay, I just try and get you through this.
I just want to remind you all that Michigan's system of finance is fundamentally broken. And to that end, I just casually mentioned, because, no one's ever supposed to campaign for the table, but I just point out for informational purposes only that our own Mike McFall has received the endorsement for state representative from the Detroit News yesterday, so congratulations.
Big deal.
Congratulations.
And when I talk about the fact that it's broken, I mean, residents of Hazel Park, that this city council and the people here in this building cannot fix it. The solutions have got to come from Lansing. And boy, do we need somebody in Lansing that really understands municipal finance and the intricacies that are involved with trying to fix this whole big mess. We've got undoubtedly the worst system of municipal finance in all 50 states. We've shown you the data time and time again. So I think, one of the strong points about, a certain candidate that we all might know and love is that he really gets it and understands that. So let's point that out. Because I wanted to.
I don't think Mike's going to sell us down the river. I think he's going to be a politician that really is for the people.
Yeah.
When he gets in Lansing, he's going to be there to represent us wholeheartedly, not half-heartedly.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that takes us to communications from our Mayor Pro Tem, if he'd like to go first this time.
Oh. Caught me off guard.
Give you the opportunity.
I just wanted to thank everyone for your kind words about my campaign. But I also wanted to mention by my house, I'm seeing a lot of people that are not stopping at stop signs. I have a lot of kids on bikes and running around where I live in the southeast corner of Hazel Park. So please stop at the stop signs. It takes 5 seconds to stop, and then you can go. But to drive right through it, at some point, someone's going to get hurt. So please stop at the stop signs. That's it.
All right. Councilperson Solomon.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank everybody that came out tonight. Want to remind people to be safe during this upcoming weekend with fireworks, fire safety. Be careful, be alert. Don't doubt the danger that those possess. Also wanted to remind everybody to, I know you can't see it on TV, but look in your mailbox for your absentee ballot postcard. That gets you, I just checked with our city clerk, and this gets you on the permanent absentee voter list. So make sure that you fill this out and get it submitted so that you can vote for people like our own Mike McFall for state rep, District 8. I also want to just add on that I really thank this council for working with me on the responsible contracting ordinance. It was really important to me. It's something I've been working on for a while, so thank you all for your support. Thank you to the city administration. Through our back and forths, we had a bit of a tussle at times, but I think we made a nice compromise, and I really appreciate the hard work that they put in. And I also want to
Thank Melissa, too. She worked very
well, yeah, both, obviously. I'm pointing at this whole table. I apologize. Melissa, of course. But I also really want to put a big shout out to Lacey for this abominable snowman of a budget that you were just, as it was melting, you were putting it back together. So thank you so much for all of your hard work on that. Finance and budgets are so intricate and so complicated, and I try to go online and tell people about them, and it's really hard for the general public to understand. So thank you so much for all the hard work you do on that. And that's it. Everybody stay safe.
Councilman Londo?
Congratulations, Councilmember Sullivan, on your ordinance passing. Lacey did a remarkable job on the budget. I can't imagine the hours and blood, sweat, and tears that went into this, and I just want to commend you and your entire team on a well-presented budget that it was our honor to pass. Lastly, without trying to proselytize, there's a 1931 law in the books in the state of Michigan that creates a felony for people seeking an abortion. It's currently under an injunction, but there's absolutely no guarantee that that is going to go away. So if you are interested, there are ballot petitions around the city and elsewhere where you have the opportunity to sign a ballot proposal that would enshrine the right to an abortion in our Michigan Constitution. And lastly, I just encourage everybody to vote like the lives of your sisters, daughters, all the women in your life depend on it, because it very well might. Thank you.
Councilman LaCurl?
Thank you. I'd like to echo a few of the sentiments about watch out for the bicyclists. I live on Harding, a few doors from the Tucker, and I have seen people not even hit the brakes, let alone, coasting through it, but 25 miles an hour through the stop sign. And I just would ask you to think about how much of a rush you're in and how terrible you would feel, what it would happen to your life if you were unfortunate enough to have a collision with someone, a pedestrian, bicyclist, or anything. So it's not worth the time. It's one thing you speeding on the highway versus the side streets. Anyway. Also wanted, Saturday night it's the movie in the park at Tusky Park. It's the last Saturday of each month, and the other Saturday was their first night. So I wanted to thank City Edge Church for putting that on. Must have been 50 or 60 elementary age kids running around Tusky Park. It was pretty nice to see. And thanks to all the department heads. This budget time is always crazy time. You've got to address that, but you got to keep doing the day-to-day stuff too. So I appreciate everybody, all the department heads. And in the immortal words of Tom Selman, if you love somebody, tell them. If you have children, hug them every day and tell them you love them. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. I tell everybody to be safe this weekend. Enjoy your family. Be respectful to your neighbors. Watch out for the bicyclists again. And get those reflectors so everybody can see you on the road. And talk to our police chief about added signage and local patrols during the holiday weekend.
Absolutely.
Please.
Again, speaking of the holiday, we know, thanks to our legislature, that fireworks are legal.
Right.
But please use them responsibly. If your neighbor yells at you, or if you got children sleeping, or they're elderly, or your neighbor has PTSD, come on, be respectful.
My cat hates them.
Driving a car is legal too, but you don't go out and hit things.
That's right.
So,
And what is not legal is, having your fireworks fall on somebody else's property.
Right.
So, if you're completely disrespectful, we're going to get completely creative in terms of what we're prosecuting this year and how we're doing it. So, again, please enjoy fireworks responsibly.
Including parents being held responsible for what their kids do.
Absolutely. We do have a parental responsibility ordinance. So you can be charged if your children are misbehaving and breaking the law, and we will do that. We have done that multiple times.
You remember there's a commercial years ago when we were kids to the parents, do you know where your children are?
Absolutely.
That was a big question on TV all the time.
Do you know where your children are?
Do you know where your children are? And that goes back to what all the problems we're having in society now. Do we know where our children are? Are we keeping a better eye on them? Are we looking for the future? Are we looking better out for everyone else?
Yep.
That's who we need to be. Those leaders.
Be kind and be respectful. And then there's one thing that I did forget to bring up, but you'll be getting a notice in your tax bill that we are unfortunately having to renew the street lighting assessment. Again, we're not increasing it. It is just a renewal. Obviously, our costs over the past 10 to 5 years have gone up. We are absorbing those costs, but we're not going to be able to, unfortunately, let it fall off. We do need to renew that. It's not an increase. If we don't, then we won't have street lights. So again, we're just letting you know you're receiving the public notice that we are required to give you, that we are once again enacting that assessment. We'll have a very brief exec session to update you on union negotiations.
Okay. Motion to go to exec session?
I make a motion that we go into executive session
Labor talks.
for labor talks.
Support.
Thank you.